What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday, people. New week, new opportunities. Attack the week, you know what I mean? Make it happen. And it's North London Derby week as well, which, damn, it's a big week for Arsenal Football Club. I know we're in this cloud of international break at the moment that is just boring. I've tried to watch a few games. The England game was not bad considering it was an England Nations League game. Against the Republic. Watched a little bit of France, Italy. Apart from that, I've pretty much stayed away from it. But at least we know Premier League football is back this week, people. And it is the North London Derby this Sunday, away from home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And we know there's no Declan Rice, which is... it's a problem. It is a problem, but it's something we've got to deal with. And people have to step up. There is a lot of debate at the moment about... How do we fill that void? Do we bring Zinchenko into midfield? Do we move Timber into midfield? I've seen people suggesting that. Do we just go with Jorginho next to Thomas Partey? That is the most probably the most likely to happen, just purely because they are, that is the backup midfielder. Or do we do something else? Do we go with Nwaneri and throw the youngster in there, which would be an interesting one, but I just can't see Arteta doing that. When has he been that much of a risk taker? So listen, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Big up to each and every one of you. Really appreciate the support. Was quiet over the weekend, but we're back to it, man. And we'll be building up to the game this weekend, Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. So we'll be discussing that in more detail. It's funny how when the window closes, all of a sudden transfer news comes up. It's like you find out stories that we tried to get certain players or we made enquiries for certain players. Then you start hearing that other players are being linked for the next transfer window, which is always interesting as well, because it's like, are they using that as a bit of a calming mechanism because they've realised there are fans who weren't happy with the window? And they want to calm everyone down. But it is interesting. I'm not going to delve too much into it, but there are a few stories that we'll talk about in terms of people that we are being linked with and players that are being linked with the move away. Zeke said, big up Big C in the community. Can't wait for the internationals to end. Do you know the crazy thing, bro, is that there's an international break in October and in November. So we've got this same situation again for the next 2 months where we're going to have a 14-day break from Premier League football for the next 2 months. They really have got to change this. And Arsene Wenger suggested something, and I do agree with him. And listen, it would be difficult, but he said international teams should get together for 1 month and play all of their international games. Now, don't get me wrong, that is a painful month, but just get it over with. Just get it over with. Go and play 6, 7 international games in 4 weeks. Play all your Nations League games and get it over and done with. We don't want international breaks 3 times in 3 months at the start of the season when you've had to watch internationals the whole summer, then pre-season. It's crazy. Warren said, Big C, do you realise how you affect people in the community? I'll be waiting for a stream or watch along. It's like going for a withdrawal. Come on, Big C, please do more. Please do more neutral watch alongs. I told you, summertime, done. Sunshine's disappearing. It's getting cold. It's raining. We get down to business. We're going to do more watch alongs, more content. It's just been a busy summer. Holidays, the kids have been off school, so I've taken, the family away and stuff like that. We're going to get down to business. Appreciate your kind words, though, Warren. And SJ said, afternoon, Curtis, big up to you and Cruz. We have heard this all before. What we tried to do in the window. It will be the same approach in January. Well, let's see. Big up Unknown C, who said, happy Monday all. Big up to you, bro. And Jahai said, terrific idea from Wenger, which I don't often agree with his shouts, but that I do agree with. Get it over with in 1 month. Let me not watch international football for the rest of it. Listen, let's get into it. Some good news, some not so good news. Some transfer news, some injury news. So we'll mix it up, get you guys' opinion, and we'll see what's going on. Kendrick doing the Super Bowl, by the way. If you're a big hip-hop fan, Jay-Z announced Kendrick Lamar will be doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl in, I believe it's February. Is it February of next year? February next year, but it is in New Orleans, or New Orleans as they tell me to say it, and no Lil Wayne. A lot of people going crazy about that. If you're a hip-hop fan, you're right there with me. If you're not, you're thinking, I tuned in to hear about Arsenal. He's talking about Lil Wayne, and Kendrick. But yeah, there's a lot of controversy in the hip-hop community about the fact that Weezy isn't at Super Bowl in his own city. Don't know. Interesting dynamics. Anyway, let's talk football. And let's talk injuries, because when you're an Arsenal fan, injuries are like second nature, people. You know what I mean? You should definitely understand injuries if you're an Arsenal fan, people. It's just part of it. You play for Arsenal, you're going to get injured. In fact, are you even a real Arsenal player if you don't get injured? Calafiori, the next one. Don't get me wrong. Don't panic too much. Apparently, this isn't too bad. This isn't too bad according to what people are saying. People saying he should be okay for the derby this weekend. But Fabrizio Romano confirming Calafiori has left the Italian national team camp as a precaution after suffering a calf injury against France and will return to be assessed. People saying the stream is choppy. Are you all getting that, people? See, my internet signal here is good, but let me know. Some of you saying it's fine, some saying the stream is a bit choppy. Stream is fine. Some of you, yeah, it's mixed. And I actually don't know. A few people have said to me today they're having problems on YouTube. But my internet signal looks fine. A lot of you saying it's fine, some saying not. We're going to have to just run with it, people. I apologise if you are getting some lag there. My internet signal's saying it's quality, but we'll run with it. Right, Calafiori has come home. He's flown home from Italy. They beat France, actually, at the weekend, 3-1. And obviously, Saliba played in that game. Got a little bit of criticism in that game. Defensively, him and Canate, maybe not the best of partnerships. 3-1 victory. French manager getting a lot of criticism. And Calafiori got a freak injury. Dembele falls over. And as he's landing, scrapes his studs down the back of Calafiori's calf and a little bit of his Achilles. And he has to leave the international camp to fly home. It's YouTube, it's not just you. Yeah, I was told before going live I was going to delay it, but I thought we'll just go for it. So if anyone's tuned in and it's laggy, my signal is fine. YouTube are having some issues today, so I do apologise. But yeah, it's out of my control. We'll just try and get through it if we can. But yeah, Calafiori leaves. And listen, again, PTSD. My apologies, people. The problem we have as Arsenal fans is that when a player's out for 2 days, he'll probably be out for 2 weeks. When a player's out for 2 weeks, he'll probably be out for 2 months. So them telling me, oh, he'll be fine, he'll be back for the weekend. I've heard this before and I panic when I hear these stories. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I don't know. But it didn't look good. If you watch the replay of it, he lands right on his calf with his studs. He's in obvious pain. And as Andrew's saying here, Calafiori has a history of muscular injuries as it is. Why does our club not check this out on players before buying? Jesus, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko. The thing is, they would naturally, if you're going to spend £40 million on a player, they would surely, you have to pass a medical. You would check those details out. They obviously feel they're going to take chances on it. And there's always an element of risk attached when you buy a player who's had that. We know he's had this serious injury in his teenage years, and we know that there's always a possibility. I suppose the flip side of it is we signed Thomas Partey, who was not injury prone at all. Thomas Partey now is probably one of the most injury prone players at Arsenal. So do we go with the injury records of the past, or... It's difficult. I think ultimately anybody can end up injury prone, for whatever reason. It's unexplainable sometimes. But yeah, Calafiori injured. Hopefully it's just a bruise and there's nothing too serious there. Boss J said there are always risks. Hope he recovers for the derby. Will he even play in the derby? Like I would imagine Timber plays at left back again, unless he throws Timber in defensive midfield and puts Calafiori in. But I couldn't see him doing that. Salman said it doesn't really matter. Partey was fine for 6 years. Man shows up in North London and he's done. It doesn't matter. Never mind his injuries. He has aura, said SLD. He's a baby Maldini, they're calling him. Baby Maldini, you know. TV1 said, Curtis, you see Lee Carsley have Rice and Saka the whole England game. New manager, same old. I mean, the guy even took Maguire off. He even took the centre-back off to give him a break. But Declan Rice and Saka, no, we'll flog him. We'll flog the horse. We'll play him for 90 minutes. We'll keep playing him. I mean, let's be real, bro. Rice isn't playing against Tottenham, so I'm not crazy about that one. But Saka, bro, come on. Get him off the pitch. It was totally unnecessary. You know, he had Jared Bowen. There were wingers. He had Madueke. He had players on the bench that could have come on and played on that right. It was crazy. I will give him some credit, though, because it was probably one of the most entertaining attacking England performances I've seen for a while. He probably ended up getting the job. So, yeah, listen, Calafiori's injured. He's flown home. I always panic when they fly home because I think if that was a minor little knock, Italy wouldn't allow him to fly back. Arsenal have obviously requested that he flies back based on the medical information they've been given. Now, surely if that was such a minor little knock, Italy would be saying, look, doctors and physios reports are stating that it will be fine for the next game. There must be an element of risk attached to Calafiori that they've allowed him to fly home. So, yeah, a little bit concerned. Hopefully it's okay. We need everybody available for the weekend. O'Malley said, Mikel has been trying to replace Martinelli for 3 years. I agree. You can't hide from that. And Abraham said, see, do you read what Nagelsmann said about Havertz? And you know what? Let's segue into it. I've got a few things to go through today, but it's always interesting when you read these things. Vic said, Curtis, this ballot system is even worse. This is coming from a silver member. It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel sorry for members who have to use that ballot system. You could join as a member. Pay your membership. I know members that didn't get one ticket last season. Not one. They had to wait till pre-season and go and watch, Emirates Cup games. It's crazy. You can be going to Arsenal for 5, 6, 7 years as a member and you're not getting tickets. Somebody could join today, go in that ballot and get your ticket that you had for the last few years. It's crazy. So I suppose on one hand, it's good if you haven't been a member because now you could be a member and start getting tickets. So that's great. But there are people that have been going to Arsenal for a lot of years and they can't get tickets. I think they have to figure out the system. Also, obviously, a lot of people are just making multiple accounts, buying loads of tickets and then flogging them and selling them for more money. So the whole ticket system at Arsenal is completely flawed at the moment, honestly. If you're lucky enough to get tickets, fair play to you. But that membership system is wild. It's a money-making scheme with no real common sense behind it. It's completely random and it doesn't help people. It really doesn't. People struggle to get tickets, but they're paying membership year after year. Let's talk about Kai Havertz. Julian Nagelsmann, the German manager. And I did watch a little bit of the Germany game. They battered, was it Hungary? I had it on in the background, to be honest. Just while I was tidying up and stuff. And Havertz missed some good chances. Havertz missed some good chances in the game. However, he did score a penalty. And he is this starting player up front at the moment, which is crazy. Julian Nagelsmann said he has the potential to be world class in many different positions. Now, it's crazy, isn't it? Because I've always said, and I stand by this, Kai Havertz is a very talented footballer. There's no doubt about it. He's a very talented footballer. Is he a I suppose what I'm trying to say is that there aren't many players that reach world-class level that you look at them and you say, okay, they can play in a variety of different positions at that same level. I think he has to figure out what he is. Are you an attacking midfielder? I've seen a lot of people comparing him to Thomas Muller. I still think he's not at that level. Thomas Muller was an absolutely brilliant player in his role. I mean, as South London Finest said, jack of all trades, master of none. Do you become a world-class striker? Are you a world-class false nine? Are you a world-class attacking midfielder? I think everybody that manages him likes his ability, likes his talent. He plays football in a very calm way. You never really see him flustered. He doesn't even look like he's running half the time. He's technically very good. I mean, Don said Curtis Havertz calls himself a striker now, and fair enough. What was interesting on the Arsenal website, they list Kai Havertz as a midfielder, which is also very interesting. Do you think he can become a world-class player? And if so, what position? I think we can all agree he's a striker now. He's better up front than he is in midfield, but how good is he up front? How clinical can he be up front? Does he need to be clinical to be world-class? Could he be a Bobby Firmino kind of player, where Firmino was not scoring 20 goals? People said he was a world-class false nine. As I always said, Firmino got away with it because he had two wingers that were scoring big goals. Maybe if Havertz had a right and left winger that were scoring 15 to 20 goals a season, maybe we would be looking at Havertz in higher, we would rate him higher. I don't think he is world class. I think he's a talented footballer, reads the game well. I don't think his link-up play is amazing. It's good. And I don't think his finishing is amazing. That's for sure. That's what he has to improve on. You've got to be more clinical. You've got to, score more chances. But his movement is superb. So we won't talk about that for too long. He's Berbatov from Wish. I mean, Berber was unbelievable. But he is talented. He is talented. I will give him that, and I'm not the biggest fan. And I've been very critical. But the talent is definitely there. It's just whether you can use it in the right way. And at the moment, because he's playing up front, because we don't have two wingers that put huge numbers on the board, we are looking at Havertz to put numbers on the board. And that's where the pressure and the expectation comes from the Arsenal fans. Dylan said, if Sterling comes in and does as good as I think he will, I think Havertz's talent will really show. I mean, I think Saka's going to score goals this season on the right-hand side. And, yeah, we need somebody on that left-hand side, whether it's Sterling, whether it's Trossard, whether it's Martinelli. Somebody needs to stamp their authority on the left-hand side of the Arsenal team and say, listen, I'm the man on the left. You don't need to rotate because everybody, is like a mixed bag of performances. Somebody this season needs to nail down that left-hand side spot. He can probably become world-class because this generation, world-class being watered down massively. And we know that. And again, we might be doing the old thing again. Curtis, off topic, would you take Ronaldo in January for 6 months? I mean, I suppose for content point of view, Cristiano Ronaldo on the thumbnail, it would be outrageous. But Cristiano Ronaldo at the age of nearly 40, I don't think that's the answer. Buy a long-term solution. Anyway, let's move on. Enough Cristiano Ronaldo talk. Couple other stories to talk about. In fact, we got lots to talk about. There's no rush. Let's talk about the transfer news that came this morning about Arsenal being linked with a player that I've put on the thumbnail. Team News and Tickets been talking about. A few other news articles have picked up on this today. Arsenal apparently inquired about Anthony Gordon late in the summer transfer window. Newcastle didn't want to lose the player, nor did they have the financial need many clubs had expected from them. Gordon would have been interested in the potential move. Now, first of all, what I want to ask you. Now, the rumour was that Newcastle would have wanted £70 million for him. £70 million for Anthony Gordon. I think that tells you everything about the modern game. About players being so expensive without really doing too much. I actually think he's a decent player. And he's very quick. Got 11 goals, 10 assists last season. So I'm not going to deny last season he was good and he is quick and direct. He's a boiled Liverpool fan. Played for Everton. Did the thing what Cole Palmer did. Cole Palmer played for Man City. Soon as he left Man City, he revealed to everyone he's a boyhood Man United fan. Anthony Gordon did the same, played for Everton. Soon as he left Everton, by the way, he said he's a boyhood Liverpool fan. And clearly, Liverpool were interested in him in the summer. But that went quiet. There were rumours that Barcelona were going to try and sign Luis Diaz. But Luis Diaz stayed, and obviously he's doing well at the moment for Liverpool. And the Anthony Gordon story kind of disappeared. Would you guys take Anthony Gordon? Would you pay £70 million for him? That's sort of my question. Do you guys actually like him? And again, as Dre says there, isn't it interesting? Consistently linked with left wingers. Now, they paid £45 million for him from Everton. His level's gone up, starting for England, got 11 goals last season. Naturally, they're going to want to make a profit. They're not desperate to sell him. We thought earlier in the season, oh, we're going to get Bruno or we're going to get Isak because they're financially strapped, but they're not. They sold Elliot Anderson to Forest for around 30 million. It balanced the books. They were fine. They didn't need to sell any of their major players this summer. Anthony Gordon, for me, is a good player. He's on the come up. He's definitely improved. He's very quick. For me, he's not the left winger that I would be going for at this moment in time. This is a player that probably 2 years ago, when we'd finished fifth, that's the kind of level I would have been looking at. The reason I wouldn't pay £70 million for him, number one, you can get Nico Williams for £50 million release clause. Now, I know that's £50 million up front rather than £70 million over a long period of time, but you know, that's first of all. Kvara over there at Napoli, for me, is one of the wingers that I would be really trying to get if Napoli have another poor season. I think he's a far more talented player than him. So, listen, he's a good player. Daniel said go and get Rafa Leao. Leao, I'm going to be honest, right? Rafa Leao is he's a YouTube FIFA highlights player. From what I've seen of him. You watch certain games of Leao and you say, oh my God, this guy's one of the best left wingers. He's one of the most exciting left wingers on the planet. He's hitting the gritty. He's got 90-something pace on FIFA. He scores goals where he runs from his own half. Rafa Leao is genuinely super, super exciting. But I think if you watch him on a regular basis, 100 million plus release clause, I'm just not sure if Leao is quite as good as we think he is. Is he in that, as you said, you've just said it, is he in that Doku category that you're fast, you're dangerous, you're exciting, but you're not overly consistent, you know? I like Leao, you know. Trust me, I would like Leao at Arsenal for the vibes. £110 million, I just don't know. I want somebody that's more certified on that left-hand side. You know, he's very unpredictable. I've watched Milan a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, watch Milan every week. And, you know, but when I do watch Milan, I've seen games where he's non-existent. But he's very exciting. I'll give him that. And if you can coach those guys, they're rough diamonds. Doku is a diamond in the rough. If Pep can polish him and turn him into getting the stats along with the excitement, he becomes a superstar. Just get me Vinny, end of, bro. To get Vinny, we probably have to sell the club, the training ground, the merch, the dog, everything. And even then, he would still reject the move anyway. Vinicius Jr., in my opinion, is the most exciting player in world football. Vinicius. And I've loved Mbappe over the years, but I'll be honest, Vinny has overtaken him in terms of excitement level. And I think the reason Vinny should win the Ballon d'Or is because he is that exciting, unpredictable winger with end product. He will rip your fullback to shreds and then probably score or get an assist at the end of it. You know, and that's why for me, Vinny he's the best winger in world football at the moment. Because it's not just all excitement and pace with no end product at the end of it. View from the bit said, I want Kudus or Williams. I'm a big fan of Kudus, man. I just don't understand, number one, why we didn't get him last summer. Number two, why Manchester United signed Anthony from Ajax for 90 million when they could have got Kudus for 35. That is crazy. Vinny only shows up when he wants. Nah, Vinny's outstanding, bro. Champions League semi-final, Champions League final. He's a huge player, man. Huge. Leao is a baller. He is, Sam. He is, but is he consistent? Yamal is the most gifted. Maybe natural ability, but he's got to do it over a sustained period of time. Vinny has led to winning titles, winning Champions Leagues and things like that. A lot of you saying, get Rodrigo. Now, Rodrigo is the one that maybe in a year or two, he pops up on the market, because I don't know if Mbappe continues to play through the middle. He hasn't looked that comfortable there. Suj said, just here to drop some love for Curtis. Hit the likes and subscribe. Love for the love. Word to my brother Turkish. Big up, bro. Big up to you. And Kamal said, I remember Isak, who we turned our nose up at. I'll be totally honest, right? When we were being linked with Isak the first time, before he went to Newcastle, and, you know, when they were saying, oh, he's in London in a car, and they were typing in the number plate, I'd watched him a few times and he was exciting, but his goal record worried me. I was like, boy, I want a prolific striker, man. And isn't it funny how things turn out? 60-odd million release clause at the time. We don't buy him. He goes to Newcastle. Now you're going to have to pay 100 million to get him out of there, probably. So that's always the element of risk attached to players. Do you buy them early and pay a bit more money for them, but, you know, before they're fully established? Or do you wait until they get into that top bracket and you've got to pay top dollar for them? So it's difficult, isn't it? Because I'm looking at Gyökeres right now and I'm going, hang on a minute. This guy can't stop scoring for club, for country, and yet no one's bought him. I didn't even really hear any offers for him. It's a crazy situation. If they get too big in the market, Arsenal will struggle to get them because of how expensive they are and how much competition they are. So Arsenal, it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. I'd absolutely love Rodrigo. Him and Saka. Oh, Chris, it would be unreal. Gunnar G said 100. Pack said my three were Kudus, Musiala and Gyökeres. Musiala's a top player, man. I think in the next year or two, he might decide to come back to the Prem, but he's been heavily linked with City. Andy said Leao is better than Saka, but Saka is more valuable because of his numbers. Leao's Balotelli-like attitude holds him back. He needs a disciplinary coach. Shaquille said, Curtis, you have to understand. You have to stop looking at goal records sometimes. Players click at bigger clubs in the system they play. Don't read into the record sometimes. Look at the potential. And listen, you're right. Ultimately, though, we're in a generation of football where it's stats. Now, I don't buy into that totally. It's always about the eye test. Sometimes you just watch a player, you go, listen, he's an absolute baller, regardless of stats. But stats do play a part. If you're buying a striker for 65 million and his average season is, I think his average was like 8 or 9 goals. I was like, bro, at the time we probably had Lacazette and play. I was like, bro, why are we spending 65 on a guy that gets 9 goals? But you are right. He did look a hell of a player. And he's transformed that into the Premier League. Now you would have to pay huge money. And it is system-based. You look at players like Raheem Sterling, for example. Liverpool looked like he was going to become a world beater. I could rip up any fullback, blah, blah, blah. He goes to Man City. Now he achieved more collectively as part of that group because he won titles, he won FA Cups, League Cups, his trophy cabinet is full. But I don't believe Pep got the individual best out of Raheem Sterling. I feel like Raheem Sterling was a more exciting player at Liverpool than he was at Manchester City. But Pep created a system. He used him very much like Pedro when he was at Barcelona. You play left wing, you're going to score multiple tap-ins at that back post. The amount of times City got the ball, Mahrez rolls it to Kyle Walker on the overlap, whips it across the box. Raheem Sterling's tapping it in at the back post. Or Kevin De Bruyne's whipping it across, Raheem Sterling's tapping in at the back post. By the end of the season, you go, why? Sterling got 17 league goals and 10 assists. What a season. But still, Raheem Sterling never got that true love. He never got that true love of everybody in the Premier League thinks you're an absolute superstar. He never got that. You still used to speak to people and say, what do you think about Raheem Sterling? And people would go, he's a good player, but, you know, and that was always the reaction. And you look at the guy's numbers at Manchester City. Anybody else produces them kind of numbers, you're going, oh my God. Foden scores 15 goals last season, Player of the Year. Player of the Year. Why? Because of the eye test. He's silkier on the ball. But Raheem Sterling was producing them numbers. But it was because of the system. People felt, you know, there's more to you than that. Let's be honest, like Ben said, Jack Grealish at Aston Villa, I was like, oh my God, I want Arsenal to break the bank for this guy. He's incredible. Goes to Manchester City, wins the treble, multi-millionaire, 250 grand a week, trophy cabinet through the roof. Jack Grealish doesn't look half the player he was at Aston Villa because he's playing within a system. And sometimes a system will produce trophies and success, but it will hold back individual brilliance. That's why nowadays the list of top players, it's way smaller than it was 15, 20 years ago. Because every coach is looking for a system that produces trophies. And a lot of the time, that doesn't involve individual brilliance. I watched a video the other day of Robinho. You know when people just put up these videos on Twitter, little compilations. Robinho, somebody said like the streets won't forget Robinho. I thought, right, I ain't seen Robinho like any highlights of him for years. It was like a 2-minute compilation. I watched it and I thought, oh my God. I have not seen a player play like that for 5 years. Probably since Neymar was at Barcelona. There's nobody in the world that plays like that. Maybe Vinicius Jr. a little bit. And it's crazy. Football is crazy. How many footballers do stepovers? How many footballers nutmeg players? Think about when you played football in the streets. Nutmegging somebody was almost as big as scoring a goal. You might nutmeg somebody and the whole game stops because the nutmeg's so good. Game's done. Some dirty nutmeg man come and meg him. The game's locked off. You don't see that in the game no more. You don't see players getting nutmegged. It's crazy. Because they'll look at Robinho nowadays and they'll go, don't score enough. Don't score 20 goals a season. You know, the game, and I know I'm going off topic here and I might sound old and I'm going on about the old days, but football has changed so much. Individual brilliance gets coached out of players so much at a young age. My son's involved in academy football now. It's all two-touch. Control, pass, move, try and get on the end of a move. They don't want players who dribble so much because you're viewed as a risk. You're a risky player. You lose the ball too much if you try and run at players a lot. Centre mids now, sideways, backwards. He played 400 passes. Yeah, but how many of them hurt the opposition? The game's totally changed. But listen, I'm not saying the game is bad. This game now is about athletes. You've got to be able to run 10K, run 11K during a game. Are you fast? Are you strong? Athletes now are thriving in the modern game. The game is full of athletes, runners, powerhouse players that can play as part of a system. All down to Pep. You can't completely blame Pep. Pep's the most successful manager of this generation, and people don't have to follow him. Do you know what I mean? Just because Pep's got a blueprint that works for him doesn't mean everybody has to go down that route. I feel like 15, 20 years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson had a system at Man United that was successful, but Arsene Wenger turned up and played a different way, and he found success. Mourinho turned up and played a different way. Ancelotti played a different way. So I actually think if I was a manager, I would try and stay away from what Pep's doing. Yeah, there's elements of the game I would look at, but I wouldn't want to copy that blueprint because how are you going to beat Mr. Miyagi at what he's the master of? Karate Kid, you got to learn your own thing as well, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you can't blame Pep. You can't blame Pep. Pep's created a blueprint that works. Ancelotti doesn't play like Pep. Neither does Mourinho. Neither does Conte. So, I think football is everybody's following the same blueprint. Bring back 4-4-2. I'm telling you now, somebody's going to bring back 4-4-2 at some stage. You watch what happens. Them two centre-backs won't know what's going on. Because, oh my God, I got two strikers here. How am I going to deal with this? Leicester won the league 4-4-2. Okazaki and Vardy, nobody knew how to deal with them. It was crazy. You saw it, people. So, listen, I know I've gone off topic a lot there. You guys were saying a lot of names in the comments and, about players, and it just had me thinking. So, there's my little rant about modern day football. But it's an athletic game, people. It really is. Emery does 4-4-2. Yeah, a lot of the time he does. And it's hard to play against. It's hard to play against. Big up Laser Gaming. Hope you're well, bro. Hope you are well. I was playing 2K25 last night. Not bad. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Kamal said, I think part of the problem is the scrutiny players and managers get now. All the media talk about is legacy makes teams put winning over entertainment. Yeah, and it's a stat game nowadays, people. Listen, we live in I call it like we live in a junk food generation. And what I mean by that is not actually the food itself, although a lot of it is. It's like people want everything quick. Everything's got to be quick. Look at the world in general. And I'm going completely off topic here, but just bear with me. Back in the day, if a girl wanted a big bum, she'd go in the gym and do squats and she'll get her diet right. Now they get a BBL, right? And people don't want to cook anymore. They go on Uber Eats, get it delivered to their front door. People don't go shopping and try clothes on anymore. They order them next day delivery. Try it on, that fits, I'll keep it. That don't, I'll send it back. We live in a junk food generation. Everything's got to be now. It's more of a microwave generation, let's say that. It's not actually being cooked properly, it's just hot. You know what I mean? It ain't even proper. And it's the same with football. We don't even watch football as much anymore. It's, type his name in on Google. Oh, he's got great numbers, he must be a great player. And that's the modern game nowadays. That's how we analyze football nowadays. Oh, how many assists did he get? Oh, he's a great player. Oh, how many goals did he get? Oh, he must be an amazing striker. Actually, it might just be part of a system that makes him look a lot better than he is. And that's where it is. And that's where it is, people. It is, you're right, bro. It's a football manager generation. People don't watch football. A lot of people don't even understand the game that much nowadays. It's just purely, oh, he scored, he's great. He got an assist, he's great. To me, back in the day, an assist had to be a pass that led to a goal-scoring opportunity. That's what I classed as an assist 10 years ago. You played a ball that split a defence that led to me having a goal-scoring opportunity. Now, I can give you a 5-yard pass. You can dribble past 4 players and bend it in the top corner from 35 yards. I get an assist for that because I gave you a 5-yard pass under no pressure. Even though you've created that goal yourself. Yeah, I gave you the ball, but I didn't do anything really to help you create that goal. That's the modern. You could quite easily do 10 of them a season. I give you the ball, you're a great player, you run past someone, you bend it in, I get 10 assists like that. You're telling me I'm a great creative midfielder. You might want to sign me for 70 million because I got 10 assists. That's how crazy the game is. Pre-assist they're talking about. Pre-assist, you know. It's wild. It's crazy. The game now is, I'm telling you now, this generation of football is, in my opinion, probably the easiest generation to become a top-level footballer. Because the standards are lower, the requirements are lower. You have one good season at a good level and you're getting bought for big... Look at Mudryk. Mudryk's in the Ukrainian league. He had one season in the Ukrainian league. Right? No disrespect. I only saw Ukrainian teams back in the day when they was in the Champions League. Shakhtar Donetsk, Dynamo Kiev away, you knew that was a tough game, right? One season in the Ukrainian league, £88 million, Chelsea. 8-year contract. You're made for, your whole life has just been made. One season in Ukraine. Why? Because he's quick. And we love quick players. And he looked good on YouTube. And he looked exciting. And that's it. 88 million. One season in Ukraine. Honestly, this is a dream generation for people to play football. If you are an athlete and you're half talented in this generation, you have an unbelievable chance of making it. Honestly. Hit a hot streak and you've got a great chance. Rebrov and Shevchenko, yeah, they were the original Don Dodders of of Ukraine. I can't lie. Anyway, I have really waffled there and gone off topic. We might have to do a show about that and get some people on and we'll discuss it. Big C, do you miss Eddie? It's like, you know what? Good luck to him. I saw his interviews at Palace. Good luck to him. But no, I don't miss him. I'm glad he's gone. It's their problem now. Right, let's move on anyway. Let's move on. Anyone know how many assists Pele has? No, I actually don't. Listen, fair play to them. I respect it. Modern generation, you hit a hot streak, you get a big move, you're a millionaire, you're at the top level. Go and, don't hate the player, hate the game. My advice would be work hard, specialize in something, and you've got a chance in this game. Real talk. You knew this story was going to come up at some stage. This is the worst kept secret in football and in the Arsenal fan base. There's two ways Arsenal fans can deal with this story. We can deal with reality, or we can deal with fairy tales. William Saliba and Real Madrid. This football club has to stop this situation from becoming an eventuality. Because it will. We all know when Real Madrid decide you're at the top of that hit list, 9 times out of 10 it happens. Doesn't always happen. Every now and then they miss one. But 9 times out of 10, it happens. They came for Mbappe, no. Came back for Mbappe, no. Came again. Now it happens. Cristiano Ronaldo, no, you're staying. Came back again. He left. Gareth Bale, we won't sell him at any price, Tottenham were saying. Okay, 80 million? Okay, he's leaving. Okay, yeah. Real Madrid are interested in Arsenal's William Saliba. Real Madrid are monitoring Arsenal defender Saliba, and according to TBR Football, scouts from the Spanish club reportedly watched him during Arsenal's 2-0 win over Aston Villa as they look to strengthen their squad. Keros said, I'm not even mad. And do you know what? I'm not even mad. You've got the only way you stop this from happening is by winning trophies. It's the only way. It's the only way that Van Dijk didn't end up there. It's the only way that Kevin De Bruyne didn't end up there because they continue to put trophies on the board. And it kept them at arm's length. And what you also do when you win trophies, new contracts. Contracts have to keep getting extended. Money has to keep getting bigger and bigger. That's it. That's the only way you're going to keep this guy at this football club is by winning trophies. He, in my opinion, is one of the best defenders I've seen at Arsenal. I said the other day, he's possibly my favourite centre-back I've seen at Arsenal. And a lot of people went crazy. But I'm being honest. Tony Adams was the leader, of course. And I like Sol Campbell's aggression. But Saliba as a modern-day centre-back is everything you want. It's no coincidence that they would want him. But as I was saying, people, in this modern game, there aren't as many good players in each position. We have to keep him. I was looking at something that he said, a quote, when he signed this new contract. He said, I think we can achieve everything, of course. It's easy to say this, but we have the coach, the character, and the players, and every year the team gets stronger. We have better players with a good mentality and the experience of last season as well. He said, we know that the season is so long, so we are confident, and we know we can do something good at this club. He then went on to say, his next quote was, he said, I haven't achieved anything yet, and I believe I can achieve everything at this club. As he's saying, people, he hasn't achieved anything. You're talking about, when we talk about him, we're talking about one of the best centre-backs in the world. Now, you might be able to put a few above him. Van Dijk, Ruben Diaz, there's arguments. Rudiger, whoever you think, there's arguments for all of them, depending on where you are in that argument. But he's in the mix. He hasn't won a trophy. if you include Community Shield or not, I don't really. It hasn't won a major trophy. Now, Rudiger turns 32 this season. Militao's had an injury, Alaba's had an injury, and Nacho has left. They're going to need a centre-back. And also, Alaba is 32 years of age, turns 33 next summer. So Alaba and Rudiger are heading towards the exit door at some stage. So they're going to need somebody to play next to Militao. This football club have got to win trophies. And I always argue with people. When people start throwing around system, progress, process, phase, all of that stuff goes out the window eventually, people. It goes out the window. We've seen it. We saw it with Cesc Fabregas. We saw it with Robin van Persie. We've seen it with Alexis Sanchez. These players, as much as we might say you're a snake, you're this, that, they felt they had to leave because the club wasn't doing enough to win silverware. This guy hasn't won a trophy. He's too good to have not won a trophy at this football club. We have got to win a trophy this season. We've got to. And also, next summer he's got 2 years left on his deal. We'll be in trouble. He's 23. He turns 24 in March. If you're 24, you're at a big football club, you haven't won anything, there's problems. If I was Arsenal, honestly, I would be trying to give him a new contract right now. I would be trying to give him a new contract right now. 2.5 years left on his deal. I would be sitting him down and saying, bro, I'll give you 250 grand a week. And I'll give you a free £4 million signing on fee. Can we get back into that conversation? 2.5 years left on his deal. I would be trying to get that to 4 or 5 years. When Real Madrid come knocking, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. He's got in the top 30 nomination for Ballon d'Or. He was named in the team of the tournament for the Euros. And he was named in PFA Team of the Year in the Premier League. He's being worldwide recognition now he's getting. Arsenal have got to sort this out. And I know people say be patient. We have been patient. We're 5 years into a process. We're entitled, no matter what side of the fence you're on, whether you're the biggest Arteta fan, whether you're not, every Arsenal fan in the world should be saying now, this club have got to win silverware. This team have got to win silverware. Otherwise, it will be broken up and we'll have to try and rebuild things that were already built. It's like trying to build a house. You've built the foundation, the front door's up, the windows are there. You've just got to put the roof on, and now the front door's broke, and now the floor's leaking, and now you've got to come back off the roof and try and build that again. The foundations are in place to win. You've just got to finish it off. They're sending scouts to Premier League games now, and the thing is, I'm a realist as well, people. If Madrid really come to sign him, you're going to struggle to keep him. That's the reality of the situation. You've just got to hope that we can win something. He's comfortable here. He knows he's in the French team now and that he feels that we can go on and win major trophies. And maybe he thinks at 23 that he doesn't need to go there yet, but you don't often see players turn down Real Madrid. So Arsenal have got to sort this out. They've got to sort this out. They've got to win things. Win now. We've heard all the promises, all the phases, all the... Got to win now. Prince Cole, let me know what you guys think. Prince said, if I'm Saliba, I'm not signing no new contract. Nick said he's gone. I'm accepting already because we're not winning the Premier League. Saliba said, facts, I've already accepted he's leaving next summer. Daniel said, Saliba has been biding his time since being loaned out to start his career. Shaquille said his relationship with Mikel is that good anyway. Doesn't strike me like Mikel can really talk to him like that. Talk him out of not going as well due to how he treated him at the start of his career. Yeah, a lot of people question that. Gunnar G said, deliver, yes, almost last year, almost the year before. Watch Madrid sign Saliba and Gabriel. Not sure they'd be in for Gabriel, but Curtis, it's not that deep. He can go if he wants to. I mean, listen, let's get one thing right. We don't want him to go, so I don't want to start having the discussion, but if he was to go, you've got to be looking at least £100 million, which would be an unbelievable amount of money for a centre-back. But you would have to ask for crazy amounts of money. But how do you replace him? We cannot replace him, as Pep once said. I don't think that 100 million even replaces him, because I don't think we would get any centre-back that is on his level. Even if we had the money, I don't think the top centre-backs would come to us. Sam said, we go again next season, merchants are in for a shock when our players start leaving to win elsewhere. Even Kane, who loves Spurs, left to try and win. You have to strike while the iron's hot. While we're playing well, we've got to win things. Dimoko said 50 million on Rodrigo. Now, that's how you would have to get a little bit creative. Maybe you could take a player or two off Madrid. Shaq said, Big C, 150 million. He's the best young centre-back in the world. Big up my bro Akeem in the chat. We have to win in order to keep him, even if it's the FA Cup and second place. Listen, that feeling of going to Wembley, beating a rival, going up the steps, lifting a trophy, getting the medal round your neck, it's different. It's different, you know. He's got to win something. I've got no problem Arsenal have to win an FA Cup, a Premier League, something. Anyway, let's move on. Big up to everyone locked in. I have waffled a little bit during this show. I went on a little bit of not a rant, but just about the modern game and the lack of skill and stuff like that. If you're watching this on playback, or even if you're watching it live, let me know what you think in the comments. What has caused football to go in this direction? Why do we see such a lack of skill, lack of nutmegs, lack of individual brilliance? How many players in this modern game get you off the edge of your seat? Even at Arsenal right now, as an Arsenal fan, how many attacking players are in this team that I think, oh my God, I would pay to go and watch him? Even in the Premier League, how many players can you think of that you think, you know what, I would pay my money to go and watch him play because he's that excited? Why has football gone in this direction? I don't think it's as simple as just blaming Pep. He's created a blueprint. Everybody has decided to follow him, and they're not as good as him at doing it. So it's interesting why footballers move like that. Anyway, Gabriel Jesus. Lacazette with cheekbones, I called him. I don't even celebrate when I read these stories now, because it's like your electric running out and you've pressed the emergency button. You're happy that the fridge is back on and the lights are on, but you know in 2 days' time the lights are out again, unless your money's right, people. If you can relate, you can relate. Gabriel Jesus being back, it's like pressing the emergency button of the electric. You're happy that it's back on, the electricity, but in a few days' time, it's running out again. Respectfully, this has to be his last season at Arsenal Football Club. And I don't like saying this because I actually, from how he's been on the tours, and I don't like to get too caught up into the personal feeling of what some of these guys are like on the tours. You go on the tour, you speak to them, you think, yo, he's a cool guy, man. Do I then go on the stream and start supporting that player more because, you know, he gave me a bit of conversation on the tour? And you can fall into that trap. But me, people, you know, I keep it 100. Jesus on the tour, he's a cool guy, man. I'm not even going to lie. He's respectful, he has conversation, but I'm not then going to come on here and start saying, yo, because Jesus is cool, all of us. Yo, brother, this has to be your last season at Arsenal Football Club. You're a very talented footballer. This has not been a success. I hoped you could come to Arsenal, score 20 goals. It's not that. Yeah, don't get too attached, bro. Listen, because of my membership and stuff like that, when I buy my Arsenal shirt, they offer me a free name on the back of my shirt. I don't get no name on the back of the shirt. They look at me every time I say that like, no, but you get it for free. Even if there ain't a player here that you like that much, put his name on the back of your shirt. Once again, I said no. I've realised next season, I'm going to put OG players on the back of the shirt. I don't care. I say, okay, put Henry 14 on the back. Yeah, put Bergkamp 10 on the back. Put Pires 7 on the back. That's where I'm at with it. Gabriel Jesus, you're a good player. You're a cool guy on the tour. But to me now, you're a squad player until the end of the season. And then, do you know the only thing I will say about Jesus? It's not the only thing, but You was attached to Aubameyang. Okay, listen, he was the most exciting striker we've had since Van Persie. I am a striker merchant. He was exciting. He did front flips. He put the Black Panther mask on. Aubameyang is definitely a streets won't forget Arsenal player. Let me just make that abundantly clear. He's wearing the Black Panther mask. He's doing front flips. He's driving a gold Lambo. How could we not love Aubameyang, man? You know, the youths loved him as well. My son wanted 14 Aubameyang on the back. He was a streets won't forget player, man. Imagine prime Oba in this Arsenal team. We'd be champions. Real talk. You put Aubameyang in that team last year, we win the league with his 20 goals. Alexis Sanchez as well, man. Streets won't forget. He's the most exciting winger I've probably watched at Arsenal. I'll be real. Alexis was different. You put Alexis, you put Aubameyang in this team, prime, we win the league last season. Because left-hand side, Sanchez would have scored 15 to 20. Oba would have scored 20 to 30 in this team with Odegaard. Simple as that. Gabriel Jesus, backup right winger, in my opinion, and striker. You know what, I did go off topic. The one thing I was going to say about Jesus, I feel like Jesus improves certain parts of our team, and one part of that team was Martinelli. I felt Martinelli and Trossard play better with Jesus through the middle than Havertz. However, I can't keep making that excuse. You know, I've made the excuse for the last year and a half. Oh, but Martinelli needs a left centre midfielder to link up with him. He needs a left back to overlap him. He needs a striker to link up with him. Like, I can't make that excuse for too long. In reality, give him the ball to his feet. Are you a baller or not, bro? Wingers get 1v1 with fullbacks. I expect fullbacks to get ripped apart. If you're a baller, it's as simple as that. So, yeah, man. Santi Cazorla as well. Oh, my God. Can you imagine Cazorla next to Declan Rice? Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Santi was actually a magician, wasn't he? We got Santi at a time where we weren't that great, and we never really... When we signed him, we used to play him off the wing, didn't we? When he went into that deep-lying midfield role, oh, my days. Oh, my days. Honestly, Santi Cazorla is one of the most wasted talents we've ever had at Arsenal, in my opinion. One of the most... I remember watching that guy at the Emirates taking corners with his weak foot. I said, nah. I felt like leaving. I said, he's taking better corners with his left foot than some players are with their natural foot. Free kicks with both feet. I said, nah. This guy is different. Oh, Don, that Manchester City away performance. Oh, my days. He had Fernandinho spinning round like Kylie Minogue. I'm spinning around. Move out of my way. Yo, Santi's genius. Genius of a footballer. It's so painful that Arsenal have had players at their peak and wasted them. We've wasted players, people. Honestly. We wasted prime Mesut Ozil. The guy who Cristiano Ronaldo is saying the best creative player he's ever played with. We wasted him. We gave him a lamppost in Giroud. Shout out to Claude. Claude used to say the lamppost. We gave him a lamppost up front. You're the most creative number 10 in world football. You got Giroud up front. Like, that ain't going to work, mate. Give him a striker that can run so he can play a through ball. Then you've got Santi Cazorla. Absolutely one of the most technically gifted footballers I've ever seen at Arsenal. You got him centre mid with Coquelin, getting barged to the floor doing backflips when Hazard barged him over. Again, you've got Ozil up front. You're wasting him. Then you got prime Alexis Sanchez, one of the best wingers we've ever seen at Arsenal. And again, you've got Coquelin in midfield. You got the lamppost up front. You got, Mustafi at centre-back falling over his own shoelaces. Peter Cech in goal. A Chelsea agent. It's crazy how we waste. Then you get Aubameyang up front. It's like whenever we had one piece, we lose the other one. And this is what I'm saying about my frustration now. We had Alexis, Cazorla. We needed Aubameyang. When we got Aubameyang, Ozil was fading. Cazorla went. Then Alexis went. It's like we keep moving the jigsaw pieces to complete it and leave gaps in other places. Now we got a really good back four, but we need Aubameyang. We need Alexis Sanchez. We need Santi Cazorla. It's crazy. It is crazy. But yeah, Gabriel Jesus, respectfully, on the tour, you're cool. But you're not the answer, bro. You're not the answer. There's something... When I look at Arsenal now... When I look at Arsenal... I just don't think the attack has got that X factor. I think when you look back through teams that have won titles over the years, you will look through the majority of their teams and you'll say, there's a player in there that is performing at a level that is very difficult to deal with. Think about Drogba at Chelsea. Think about Hazard at Chelsea, Diego Costa. Think about even Leicester, Mahrez and Vardy that year were absolutely unplayable. You know, think about Man United over the years. Cristiano Ronaldo, Tevez, Wayne Rooney, Cantona. Think about Arsenal, Anelka, Ian Wright, Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, even modern Man City, Aguero, Mahrez. You know, there's always that element of X factor where a player is at a level that you're like, yo, we can't handle him. He's that good. Haaland now, or we don't have a player in the attack that quite has that X factor, in my opinion, that scares the opposition. We just don't have it. Saka maybe will reach that level and is trying to find that level, but I don't think, you know, Martinelli's gone backwards. Trossard, I don't think you'll get a much better Trossard than what you've got now. Havertz can improve, in my opinion. I don't think he becomes a world-class striker, but he can be an effective striker. I just think Arsenal have to sign that player in that front line that is like, yes, he's the exciting player for us. He scares the opposition. He's got something about him, whether that's pace, skill, finishing ability, that gets them there. Yeah, City Sané. I mean, look, Haaland is that guy now. Salah's that guy at Liverpool. You know, they've got them. They are killers in the front line. You know, if they get a big chance, you are in big trouble. Real Madrid have got Mbappe. They got Vinny, you know. Bellingham's had that X factor. Rodrigo even at times. Brian said same thing for Saka. Real Madrid don't really have a dedicated right winger. Yeah, I think while Rodrigo's there, we're all right. I don't think they would sacrifice Rodrigo to get Saka. So we might be. I've always thought City was the problem with Saka. Once Mahrez left, but obviously Foden's played there. Maybe Foden goes central. But listen, hopefully he stays at the club. Shaquille said, and I've really waffled, by the way, today. I've been on a few, but I'm just thinking about a lot of things. You started mentioning Arsenal players, and yeah. Shaquille said, if we are being honest, Arsenal is just a good upcoming team. Nothing too crazy that makes you lose sleep. No defender is going to bed thinking, how am I going to mark Henry, Bergkamp and Pires? And I mean, listen, there aren't many of those players in the modern game nowadays. So I'm not even looking for Henry, Bergkamp and Pires. I'm looking for Alexis, Aubameyang and who else could you add to that in the modern game from Arsenal, really? Probably Saka's been our best right winger in recent years. Theo Walcott maybe, and he did frustrate me, by the way. That Savinho guy in the City team is scary. He's got a lot of potential. Lonesome said we should be looking to replace Trossard. I don't think he was supposed to be more than a squad player. I think, by the way, Trossard was interested in going to Saudi. I really do. Listen, let me tell you something. He would have looked at it and gone, I had a better season than Martinelli last year. Martinelli started the season ahead of him in the team. Arsenal were linked with Nico Williams. They clearly wanted him. Trossard might have been sitting there thinking, you know what? 29, nearly 30. Saudis are interested. I can go and get massive wages. I don't think that Saudi club made that offer without some interest from Trossard. I think Trossard's agent would have been told by Trossard, listen, if they can get Arsenal to accept an offer, I'm prepared to go there. I genuinely think so. Trossard's on 90 grand a week. It's the highest wages he's ever had in his whole career. You telling me if a Saudi club at nearly 30 years of age came and said, look, 90 grand a week, we'll give you 300 grand a week. I think Trossard would have taken that. He's been dropped from the Belgium squad. He can't get in the Arsenal team. I think he was interested. Listen, I'm glad that he's staying. He's a clutch player, very talented, great finisher. But I think unfortunately for him, he's seen as a squad player at Arsenal. Salman said Trossard wasn't going to win the Prem or the Champions League in Saudi or Arsenal, so I think he was going to go. Troy said, I swear I hope Trossard leaves. This fan base and bum manager don't deserve a player that good. Arteta can replace him with Mudryk. Gunnar said Trossard scored important goals. Let's not forget that. So if he did leave, we'd have to respect that. Yeah. Levi said I'll have to go back to the start. Just tuned in. No worries, bro. Ayadeji, imagine a midfield of Cazorla, Fabregas and Rice with RVP, Sanchez and Saka up front. Well, you're winning the league, first of all, and you're challenging for the Champions League with that. You know, that beats Bayern Munich in a Champions League quarter-final. Even two of those players would, you put Fabregas in midfield next to Rice, you put RVP up front, I think we win the title. So that's why I get frustrated with Arsenal in the transfer window, because I'm not actually asking for 10 players. When Ben Jacobs come on, he goes, I think it's unrealistic for Arsenal fans to, be looking for 7 or 8 players. I said, Ben, we want 2 or 3 players of high quality, not 7 or 8. We don't need 7 or 8. We need 2 or 3. You put a top quality centre mid and a top quality striker or left winger in this team, we've got a hell of a chance. So I don't think we need loads and loads of players. That's the interesting thing about it. Let's move on. I've still got a few stories to talk about. Gabriel Jesus is back. Calafiori's got a knock, but hopefully be all right for the weekend. Couple of other things before we round up. RVP is not a legend. He won't be viewed as a legend because he snaked us, That wrote off anything good that he did at the club. Rabiot. Reports today, 2 English teams, 2 Italian teams have made formal offers to Adrian Rabiot. Barcelona have also been interested. They can't afford to buy him. Question, do you think Arsenal are one of the 2 English clubs? And the rumour is that he would like to come to England. Now, they were saying that one of them is likely to be Manchester United. They've been linked with him multiple times. Casemiro looks finished. They're short in midfield. It looks like one of them is Manchester United. Do you think Arsenal are one of the other 2 English clubs that have made an offer for Rabiot? And second of all, would you take him in the current situation that we're in? It looks like he wants big wages. I don't like Rabiot. I've got to be honest. Not liking a player and not rating a player is 2 different things. He is a decent player. You don't play for PSG and Juventus and France if you're a bad player. I just don't like him as a player. I think the qualities that he offers are not what we necessarily need. I want somebody a bit more powerful, a bit more mobile. He's nearly 30, wants big wages. It seems to be all about money. I think he probably ends up at Manchester United. And are Arsenal even interested in him? It might not even be Arsenal. So, but then the flip side, and I always like to bring context to everything. Somebody just said it in there. The window's closed. We could probably do with another midfielder. Are we in a position to turn a player like that down? You're talking about a World Cup winner, a Serie A winner, and it's a free. It's a free. We're short in midfield at the moment. We've got Declan Rice out, and we don't even know who the replacement is. So that tells you that something is wrong. I could ask all of you in the chat now, who should play centre mid instead of Declan Rice against Tottenham? And a lot of you will give me different answers. Some of you will say play Jorginho next to Partey. But then some of you will turn around and go, well, that midfield can't run, so we can't get away with that. Some of you will say, drop Havertz back into midfield and play Jesus up front. Some people will say, Havertz was terrible in midfield last season. It's too big a game to risk it. Some of you will say, put Timber in there. But then Timber hasn't played midfield since he's been at Arsenal. Some will say Zinchenko. Zinchenko has hardly played there either for us. So we actually don't know what the answer is. At least if you had a player like Rabiot, he's a French international, he would go in there and maybe you could get him short term. I don't know. Again, it's a difficult one. I got to be honest, a lot of you in the chat saying you don't want Rabiot, you don't like his attitude, he's a mercenary. Some of you saying, look, beggars can't be choosers right now, you would take him. One could be Aston Villa, and listen, it may not be Arsenal, so we could be having all this conversation for nothing. I'll be honest, if you could get him short term till the end of the season, it's not a nightmare. situation. But I don't think he will sign a contract like that while he's a free agent. If I'm 29 and I'm a free, the club that I sign for, I'm going to want to secure my future. So I'm looking for a 3 or 4 year contract. Is he going to go somewhere and say, oh, I'll sign for 1 season? So I don't think he'll be coming to Arsenal personally. I think he'll be looking for a 3 or 4 year deal. Shaw said it's United and Newcastle. Would make sense. It would make sense. We'll see what happens and if anything develops with that one, people. 2 quick stories. That guy, Team News and Tickets again. Is he doing Arsenal PR here? I'm not sure. We always seem to get this, don't we? When one window closes, they want us all to get excited about the next one. But hey, I'm not going to fall for it. But he said, I've been told. Somebody's told him. He said, I've been told Alexander Isak will be very, very high on Arsenal's list. He's definitely someone I expect them to revisit next summer. If Newcastle don't get Europe, you'd imagine he'd be angling for a move. What I will say to everyone in the community, just don't get excited by this at all. Hey guys, be excited. Josh Kroenke. There's a painting of him outside the Emirates. Not sure why. Don't buy into this. Didn't we hear that this summer? Newcastle aren't in Europe. Financial difficulty. Might be able to get him. Nobody got near him. He's got 4 years left on his deal. There's no release clause. They got the richest owners in the world. Not buying into it, mate. Like as an Arsenal fan, the one thing you don't buy into is next summer, war chest. Those statements, don't buy into them. I've just seen the summer and it wasn't that pretty. So don't try and fool me with the next summer talk. Ain't there a window in January? Like, why not go for... I don't buy into that. War chest, next summer, not interested when it comes to Arsenal. I'll be real. If we were about that life, why didn't we go for him this window? But hey, is what it is. Got to ask why he already doesn't have a club. To be fair, they're saying that he's turned down multiple offers in terms of Rabiot. So he's obviously searching for either a bigger club or a bigger contract. Yeah, if I speak, it's one of them. Next summer FC, Dream News and Fix instead of Team News and Ticks. It could be that. If we wanted him, we would have got him. Isak, don't hold your breath till he holds the shirt, said Elliot. Juk said, we will probably make this sort of signing if one of the big names leaves. Again, same thing I said. When Alexis was here, I said, please sign a top quality striker. We only signed Aubameyang once Alexis left. And it's right. We probably sell someone then buy Isak. And the final story. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but Rob Holding. Remember him? Do you know how many arguments I used to have about this guy? Again, Arsenal fans. But he's a good squad player. He's never let us down. He ticks the quota of English players. He trains well. He doesn't affect anyone. They're the kind of arguments you used to get. Same with El Neni. There's been multiple. Instead of just going, he's not good enough, get rid of him, we get caught up in some emotional attachment. Oh, Rob Holding, because Wenger said some nice words in a press conference. I'm sorry, he didn't cost 50 million. Yeah, you're damn right. He ain't worth 50 million monopoly money, bro. El Neni currently plays for Al Jazeera. I thought that was a TV company. In the UAE Pro League. I mean, he's getting paid. Fair play to him. But you realise what level these guys are at when they leave. Rob Holding. Former Arsenal player Rob Holding has removed all Crystal Palace posts and has unfollowed the club after his $4 million move last summer. Palace manager Oliver Glasner revealed last week Holding was training alone following a talk between the pair. I mean, he was signed by Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson said, boy, this guy's rubbish. Roy Hodgson said he's wubbish. You know what I mean? Didn't play him. Glasner's come in and said, brother, come here, bro. Nice here, but you're not even training with the group. You're that bad, You're not even training with the team, bro. Eddie's training with the team, but you ain't training with the team. Go over there and just do some kick-ups. And remove all the Crystal Palace posts. We don't consider you one of our own. Man's deleting tweets, unfollowing, can't get a kick. But he's a good squad player for Arsenal. He doesn't affect anyone. He's rubbish. As Roy Hodgson said, he's absolutely rubbish. Look at Callum Chambers' career. Do you see that guy kicking a ball anymore? Do you know where Callum Chambers is at the moment? I believe he's on loan at Cardiff. I could be wrong. Callum Chambers is currently... I'm sure he's at Cardiff on loan. He's at Cardiff in the Championship. That's another one who we kept for years. 2014 to 2022. Callum Chambers. 29 years of age in the Championship. These are our squad players that we hung on to. Rob Holding, training by himself. Cedric Suarez doesn't have a club. Free agent. Maybe we should sign him back. Cedric don't have a club. Holding's training by himself. Athletes not ballers. There you go. Cole Jenkinson, surely he's retired. I'm convinced he won that on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, out of contract. Played for Newcastle Jets in the Australian A-League. I think he might even have signed a new contract. His contract's ran out. Maybe they've renewed it. But anyway, yeah. These squad players. Do you know what? Let's have a little look down memory lane. We're going to have a little look. Where are our leftovers? Skodran Mustafi. Who does he play for? Who does he play for? Nobody. There's a surprise. Last season, he made 3 appearances for Levante in the 2nd division in Spain. He's 32 years old, currently doesn't have a club. No surprise there. One of the worst defenders we've ever seen. Let's see where else that. Where's Socrates? Socrates surely is at Olympiacos. Wasn't he there? Socrates, who does he play for? Socrates is at Real Betis. Oh my God. Made 15 appearances. I'm shocked at that. Yeah, this is your life settings. I need to know who these guys play for. Like, do they still exist? I can't believe... Fair play to Socrates at 36 at Real Betis. We know that Kolasinac won the Europa League with Atalanta. How he got that move. Peter Cech was at Chelsea. I think they might have sacked him. The new ones. Mavropanos at West Ham, 20 million. Socrates wasn't too bad. We just got him late in his career. He was actually a solid defender at Dortmund. We got him late. You know, let's have a look at some of the others. Lucas Perez. We didn't get Vardy, so we signed the Spanish left-footed Vardy. 35 years of age. He's in the 2nd division. Deportivo La Coruña. 2nd division in Spain. I can't believe he's 35. Ozil's retired. He's like a weight trainer now, isn't he? Man's massive. Where's Santi? Where's Santi Cazorla? Aren't he going back to his old team? Real Oviedo, 2nd division. Fair play to him. Where's Alexis? I think Alexis went back to Udinese, didn't he? Alexis Sanchez is at... Yeah, Udinese. He's gone back where it began, man. Mustafi's retired. Well, he retired playing at Arsenal, I think. Pepe. Where is Pepe? Ain't Pepe's with Tiana Trump, isn't he? Doing a madness. He's in Spain. He's at Villarreal. That's a good move for him, to be fair. He's played 3 games. That's a good move for him. Yeah, let's have it. Yo, how is it that Dani Ceballos actually made a career for himself at Real Madrid? Like, when he left, I thought, mate, you're going to end up at Osasuna, mate. You ain't making it at Real Madrid. I know he's a squad player and they don't mind him sitting on the bench, but he's actually, like, signed new contracts, come on in big games. I know he doesn't start, but he's there, man. He's there. Where's Willian? Where's Willian gone? Oh, he's still at Fulham. 36 years of age. Funny, you look at Willian's whole career, it's like he came to Arsenal, had his worst spell, and then improved afterwards. Where's Denis Suarez? He was a shocking loan, wasn't he? Denis Suarez, what a bad player he was. He's at Villarreal with Pepe, 30 years of age. He only made 4 appearances last year, 33 the year before, 4 goals. He was so lightweight. He was like another Fabio Vieira. Arsenal's 2015 dating history is pitiful, bro. Let's keep going before we round up. Where's the famous Kim Kallstrom? My back, my blood clot back. 42 years of age. He's got to be retired. Yeah, he's done. He's finished. When did he last play? 2017 he retired. Listen, he scored an important goal in the FA Cup. Where's Draxler? We were linked with him every single season. Julian Draxler is currently at Al Ali. He's cashed out. Fair play to him. He's cashed out. Runarsson and Koscielny. Where's Koscielny? Where's Lauren Koscielny? Last seen throwing his Arsenal shirt on the floor. Koscielny is 38. Still at Bordeaux? No, he's done. He's retired. Koscielny is now retired. Retired in 2022. Koscielny's finished. Where's Alex Runarsson, the worst goalkeeper in Arsenal history? Alex Runarsson, 29 years of age. Who does he play for? He's the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen. Cardiff City. He's at Cardiff with Callum Chambers. Oh, dear. Where's Hector Bellerin? That's one we've definitely got to check. Last seen planting trees in the London area. Hector Bellerin, 29. Real Betis. He's at Betis with Socrates. See, there's all sorts of little Arsenal get-togethers going on, you know? There's all sorts of little link-ups. Where's Lucas Torreira? I think he's in Turkey or something. Lucas Torreira is at Galatasaray. Yeah. They're about, man. They're about. They are about. This is your life, people. We're looking for all the Arsenal leftovers. Who are they playing for? Kieran Gibbs, somebody just said. Kieran Gibbs. Kieran Gibbs, 34 years of age, retired. Last played for Inter Miami in 2022. Retired. Could have been playing with, in the team where Messi and them. Where's Aaron Ramsey? Is he still playing? Or is he retired? 33 years of age. Cardiff City. See, there's a Cardiff City reunion going on. Bare players at Cardiff. Callum Chambers, Runarsson, Aaron Ramsey, all at Cardiff. Bare little Arsenal. Where's Guendouzi? Let me see where Guendouzi... I'll do this for a few more minutes, then we're out of here. I'm on a trail now. I want to know where everyone is. Guendouzi's at Lazio, so he's doing well. He's doing all right. Apparently, Peter Cech plays ice hockey. Runarsson is back up at Cardiff. No, we don't want to know where Almunia is, to be honest. Zaha's at Lyon with Lacazette. Loaned him. Thomas Vermaelen, that's a good one. Debussy as well. We'll check them ones. Thomas Vermaelen. He is... Where is he? 38 years of age, retired. Was playing in Japan until 2021. Where's Debussy? Debussy. Also retired. Valenciennes in the second division in France. He's retired as well. Mkhitaryan somehow has ended up having a good career since leaving Arsenal. I don't know how he rescued his career, but I think he's at Inter. Man's at Inter Milan. Look, man left Arsenal, went to Roma, 3 good seasons there. I think he won the Europa League there with Mourinho. And then Inter Milan, he's won the league title. Still there as well. Absolutely. Yeah, he's had a good career. He was totally washed. Totally washed. Hairline had gone, everything. Where's Olivier Giroud? Olivier Giroud again. Left Arsenal, had the best time of his career. Chelsea won trophies, won the World Cup. He's at LAFC. Ainsley's at Lyon still. He's with Lacquer. Flamini's a billionaire. Where's Yaya Sanogo? Where is that guy? Has he gone back to being a postman? He plays in the Armenian Premier League. He's 31. He's had a whole heap of nightclubs. I said nightclubs. He's had more clubs than nightclubs. Palace, Ajax, Charlton, Toulouse, Huddersfield, yeah, he's played. He's a shocking footballer. Where's Francis Coquelin? Let's have a look at that one. Was last seen doing a backflip at Stamford Bridge. He is at Villarreal. Yo, he's with Pepe. He's still there. Fair play. 33 years of age. He's doing his thing. You know what? We'll finish with this one. Where is Joel Campbell? I actually thought that guy was going to have a solid career at Arsenal. You remember that season in the gold Puma kit? I'm sure he scored against Liverpool at Anfield. He was a solid right winger. He's still playing. He's in Costa Rica. Yeah, he's gone back, man. He's gone back to South America. Never seen again. Joel Campbell was a good player, man. He was a good player. He played in the last World Cup. That's mad. That is mad. I actually rated him at one stage. Right, people, I'm going to round up there. This has been a great show. Really enjoyed it. We've waffled a bit, but it's been worth it. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Listen, I guarantee one thing. You won't go on any Arsenal channel today, anywhere on YouTube, and they'll be talking about Joel Campbell and old players like that. So, you know, we're unique people. Information and entertainment. Really appreciate you tuning in. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.